Well, a lot of times I say that it's a healing process, and it's a self-analyzing process. It might sound a bit cliche, but it's something I really need to do. If I don't go into the studio every day, but if I'm away from my art for some time, then nobody wants to be close. It's something that I need to live with. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I started out from photography when I was going to school in Japan, and then it panned out to paintings, drawings, and when I started making sculptures, it was related to the paintings, and on, the sculptures became larger installations, and then became more interactive. And then from year 2000, I was doing these large interactive installations that relate to the sensory experience, whether by touch, sound, scent. And then from 2005, I came up with this project related to food called Breast Stupa Cookery, which we are doing for the show here, and collaborating with Tawai and Mata. I wanted to incorporate food into my work. My studio at home, as you know, it's just next to the kitchen, next to the garden, and I just walk in and out. I love cooking, I love eating. And at first I thought I was going to use bread dough. I was making bread a lot that time, and then, but then I thought it was just like becoming just another material, because I use a range of materials from wax, textile, metal, all sorts of things. And then I was working with some ceramic projects, and then it just clicked one day. It just happened one day. Okay, because I bake a lot, I like to make desserts, and I said, okay, I'll make molds in the shape which I've been working on for so many years. These shapes I call breast stupas, and then I can invite different people to work with them, and it's my way of asking people back. So, what do you think about these shapes, and interpret them into food, and then food becomes the medium, food becomes the connection, and it's just a way of me to get out the art world and connect with other people, other cultures. Mm-hmm.
Really important, like all cultures, because for us, especially in the moulds that Pinaree has been producing, and the shape of them and the feminine essence in terms of ukaipo. So for Mata and myself, it was just instant, really, when Meredith explained what Pinaree's exhibition was. It was just automatic that it was going to incorporate food, because as a lot of people would realise, the breast is the nurturing part of female body, but also everybody has breasts, so in terms of that, we're all interrelated. Whether you're Pinaree and I were talking this morning, whether you're a birthing woman or whether you're a woman who doesn't have children, you still have that essence. So we thought about traditional food specifically for Pinaree's work, because there were foods that were fed to pregnant women to keep them healthy, and especially in terms of foods high in iron. Then there were foods that were fed to breastfeeding women to bring on the milk and to keep it flowing. And then there were foods that were fed to babies as their first solids. So we're going to use all of those foods during the exhibition or during the opening. Yeah.
And some are picked from the garden?
Yes, some come from the garden out at Parihaka, and some from our wakaparu, which is like our fridge, from the sea. Yeah.
And then you're making the special bread?
Marta's making a bread that is called rewana. So it's a traditional potato-based bread. And the bug is over 90 years old, so it's been in the family for a long time. And rewana was highly, and still is, highly sought after and highly revered amongst Māori people because it is our traditional bread. But during times of pregnancy, fed to women as delicacy. Yeah. And so our culture has translated a lot of those giving of food into when we have visitors, we would feed them rewana because you give your best. And it's the same with pawa. Pawa was eaten for pregnant women because it warms the blood, it heats the body, and helps produce milk and helps milk to keep flowing. So we feed that to our visitors as well. You give all your best foods. So you give all your best foods to your breeding woman, for want of a better word, and you give all your best foods to visitors. Yeah. And the other thing with food for us is that the god of food, rongo, is about peace. And if we were sitting down, we would share food. It's a peaceful time. If you weren't offered food, then there's no peacefulness happening here. So it's really important that food is shared, whether it be your first time to someone's home, whether it be at a gathering, whether it be at a funeral, whether it be at a wedding, food. And still today, really, really important that continues, that tradition continues to happen. And no one wants to fight when they're eating. And if food has been made with love, and if food is being shared with love, then there's no need for arguments. Everybody's enjoying what's happening. And when the body receives that, then the spirit is happy as well. Yeah.
And the bread making is a very has a very deep historical background with your community.
Well, at Parihaka is widely known that we were self-sufficient. We had our own flour mills, we grew our own wheat, we produced everything ourselves, so that the tradition of the bread making continues even though we don't grow our own wheat or have our own flour mills anymore. The tradition of the making of the bread and the kneading of the bread and the cooking of the bread and the consuming of the bread is all important. Marta is the only woman who's still making this traditional bread at Parihaka now and who still continues to teach our nieces and nephews, whoever wants to learn really, and keeping that bug going too, keeping that growing. Yeah, continues. It's important.
Each event of Breast to Cookery so far has been so different. Each chefs, they're artists themselves. They have their own ideas. And I've been more open to my work. At first, I was just thinking, okay, I'll make the molds and then mold food out of it. But then the chefs were using it in so many different ways, and I've developed different tools from suggestions of the chefs, and so there are more fun things to play with. And it's just also, the project also opened myself also, and some would translate it more literally, like about the flesh, about the body. Some would translate it as about the like you're relating it to the land, the woman, about nurturing, another Thai chef also made food that related to food that enhances milk also, and it's just a fascinating process for me, like, to get to know these fantastic, amazing characters and learn from them, and then it's just so unpredictable, the project, and I've learned so much from it. But going to visit your Parihaka the other day, I think it was just like, I felt it was meant to be that we would be collaborating on this. The landscape of the around that area. Yes, the mounds, the breast mounds, and because I've done these installations with actually with candles. They're like mounds.
We were talking like about that this morning. Yeah.
So I think it was just because when I asked Brian and Meredith to search for a chef to work with the project, I didn't specifically ask for a Maori chef because I know New Zealand is a mixed culture and just wanted to keep that open, flexible, and but wanting to use if there's a possibility of using the a Maori phrase in the window gallery, and I think that was when we kind of went into that direction, and then
Meredith contacted Mata, and Mata talked about the karakia, and it's a karakia that is used specifically, normally, when women are pregnant, and Mata belongs, well, we all belong to Te Hapu o Rongo, which is a small iwi within Parihaka itself, and their house is on the land of Te Hapu o Rongo, and this karakia that is still recited today just seemed appropriate, and then she gave Meredith my phone number, and I had no idea what Meredith was talking about until I got to the gallery, and I wanted to wear them when I saw them, those little breast mounds. I thought, gosh, just my size.
Yes. And then it was striking for me, you know, to be that the wordings of the karakia, because in art installations sometimes you have a show and then afterwards you just like recycle, then it's thrown away. But then those are your sacred words, and
they're living.
They living, and it has to be taken very seriously, sacredly, and so we made it that on a panel so that it can be returned to Parihaka. I thought that was really, really lovely.
Thank you for agreeing to do that, because the karakia is a living entity.
No, I think thank you for making us realize that we have to do that. Yeah. Because sometimes I think we forget.
And it's the same with this food. Tonight, if the food doesn't all get consumed, it doesn't then get thrown in the rubbish. We'll take it and make sure that it gets eaten.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's going to be lots of food.